and all like this was just really good movie,
Mhm.
really good superhero movie. Marvel, I won't say Marvel's back. I think we'll get there in this conversation. I'm still nervous about Marvel
Yeah,
going forward,
we do have to talk about
but
that.
like I think James Gunn, like this proved like James Gunn, the Guardians are just a reliable IP, and it's not necessarily Marvel's reliable. It's more like the people behind the actual projects. And then also if you have a Spider-Man or a Captain America or an Iron Man, like you have the big home run hitters, and then you have just reliable home run hitters behind the scenes. If you have one of those, you're fine.
Yeah. And you brought up something and we need to talk about it. This is obviously going to be a critical success that the MCU is looking for, that they haven't had in quite some time. They wanted to get off to a better start with Quantum Media, Jonathan Majors, next big bad. Wonder what's going to happen there. But we have the Guardians. Okay, yeah, volume 3. But this is more of a win for James Gunn than the MCU. I would say way more of a win for James Gunn. He's going off. He has the swan song. People are loving it. And he's going to now head DC and do Superman Legacy, like cementing his own legacy, right? As one of the greatest comic book directors of all time, and his handling of these characters, what he's able to accomplish. And it seems like he's kind of like basking in all his glory with like his tweets right now and talking about the premiere and like what this movie means to him, the decisions he made. And how is Vision so unique? But the MCU, this is like you lost James Gunn. Like he's not making movies for you anymore. These characters, these major players, most of them will not be returning to the MCU. So as much as you say, "Oh, we needed that critical hit," like everyone's leaving who made this possible. So now it's like, who are you going to turn to now when you need a hit? What director are you leaning on? What characters can you lean on? And it's like, okay, James Gunn's gone, right? How are you going to find your next James Gunn? And he's going off like it felt like I do want to talk about. There's some decisions made here where it's like people are. I listened to a couple of reviews. People think that he might have been sticking it to Marvel a little bit by some of the decisions he made for firing him in the first place, and then reinstituting him and naming him director. And everyone had his back, right? And wanted
I
him back.
I
You
don't
know,
think so. Because your name's on this. Like this is his work, and he's judged off it at the end of the day. That's
I
his
don't.
legacy.
Yeah, I don't
Like I
necessarily
don't
agree with
think
that
you
either.
could. Yeah, because like it makes sense for you to say that, being like, oh, like he's like a mole within, like he's gonna like or like break things from within, like hurt the MCU any way he can before he goes works and runs the competitor, direct rival. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, the person he wants that hired him to run DC, they want to make sure he's still good. He just said he's going to do the Superman movie, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of the most important movies of this decade. So it's like whoa, like let's put out a good product still.
Right. And he does have a positive relationship with Kevin Feige. It seems like they do get along. So I don't see like that out of James Gunn. It's just like that era, man. That was the beginning of cancel culture. And like they were Disney really quick on the trigger. And now it's going to be interesting because since James Gunn, that seems like such a like small scale issue than what they're dealing with Jonathan Majors right now. So it's like James Gunn notices like DC kind of has all the positive momentum going for it right now. We obviously need that project to come out, more information on Superman Legacy, but they have maybe I would say they have a more exciting future than the MCU right now. They
Yeah,
have a more exciting
I
future.
that's a tough one. I I I would say they had the more intriguing. Yeah, I guess intriguing.
MCU, like their
But like
big
MC
bad might not
Secret
even be
Wars
there. They might
is
have to
such
recast.
Secret Wars still could be like without Jonathan Majors. Like I don't think Kang will be in Secret Wars. Even if Jonathan Majors thing wasn't a situation, I still think Secret Wars could be like insane.
I,
And like, dude, that was like that literally started the like Secret Wars in, like the 80s, like the original Secret Wars. That started like the overlapping of major IP characters, dude. Like I think this could be a huge cinematic event, or it will be, but like one where I think people are still underhyping it. And I
I
think once we get a Fantastic Forecast, a Doctor Doom, a Galactic, like we'll get to see the wheels turning a bit here. And once we're past this kind of bottom of the MCU, but like also I just wanted to say one other thing that you said. So like, who is this movie I win more for, MCU or James Gunn? I think the answer is James Gunn, just because what we said. Like this just shows like, all right, James Gunn's still reliable. He's going over to DC. Boom, he's going to do a great job. Superman, you're in good hands. MCU though, this could be really like, yes, big win for them, back allegedly back on track. But let's say the next release is the Marvels in November, movie release. If that doesn't do well, then I think they're actually in a worse situation than they would have been if Guardians did well. It didn't do well. And the reason I say that is because then it's literally their problem. They are the problem. Taylor Swift, you are the problem. Like that is bad if the Marvels is bad.
Yeah, big name hero Brie Larson already kind of wants out of the MCU, and if the backlash is bad, like she might be done with the MCU. Like
Yeah,
she
and
would, I could
she
see
already
that.
hinted at it, dude. She
Yeah,
hinted. I was reading reports this week that like she doesn't even want to be Captain Marvel anymore, and I
yeah.
think in like that, this is now it's just like rumor mill flicks here. She's like low key hoping like Monica Rambeau or the new,
Teyonah Parris just takes over.
yeah, yeah, exactly, and she can just kind of like slide away. And honestly, like she's taking a lot of backlash for Captain Marvel. And to be honest, I think you used the words mailed it in. I think totally. If you haven't, I'll say it. I think she kind of mailed it in these roles. She's a much better actor than she's been portraying as Captain Marvel. I think it could have been a lot better. I digress, but I really think that if that's a bad movie and you go into 2024 with Captain America: New World Order, Thunderbolts, Blade's been in hell, like behind the scenes. Now there's talks with this writer's strike. Blade might not even come out next year. If that might get delayed again. So
That movie's
I,
just never gonna happen, bro.
I'm really nervous for Marvel going forward. And the fact that this did really well is, and if the Marvels does bad, then it's clearly they are the problem. And what they are doing right now is fundamentally wrong. Not like, oh, this was just a mishap. Quantum Mania was just a one-time thing. Or I don't know, like other movies that haven't done well. That was a one-time thing. Or post Endgame. Like, no. That it's what you're doing. Your strategy is not working. You need to make a change quick.
Yeah, jump on the DC bandwagon, Ricky. Join me. DC bandwagon.
DC.
Yeah, I low key, I'm not as excited for Secret Wars as everybody else is. I actually think it's after like reflecting on Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm actually like, and I after watching the Guardians, what I kept thinking is, I got really excited when I watched Spider-Man No Way Home, but it felt like a cheap thrill. It was something. It wasn't organic from the MCU. It's just relying on what I've seen throughout my childhood and like characters that aren't a part of the original universe. Like the fact that the Guardians 3 was so satisfying because, like I said before, I use that word, it's organic. It comes from the MCU.
Yeah.
And it's just, we saw the characters grow throughout this. Secret Wars, they're just going to be throwing cameos at you. They're going to be like firing off like Fantastic Four from maybe 2005. They're going to be firing off, who knows, right? Like the Spider-Mans might come back again. Logan is coming back, right? Hugh Jackman for Deadpool 3, probably going to be in Secret Wars. It's like
probably.
You're just doing this because you know fans are just going to feel really nice when they're in the movie theater, but the movie's not going to age well. Movie's not going to age well. I'm like, I don't trust it in the characters in the MCU. The actual, like, they're going to rely on these outside characters that weren't originally a part of it to like bolster it, because the lineup of characters and heroes in the MCU sucks. It sucks right now. And like, you need people like Brie Larson to stay on, because you don't have the name notoriety, both with the hero level, where it's like the big name superhero, and the big name actor. That's why it's like Secret Wars, people are hyping it up, but you're just relying on people that were never a part of this thing.
Right. And I think just to kind of go back to what we were saying before with the James Gunn DC thing and like I don't know, the theory that you threw out there that like maybe he wanted to sabotage a little bit. Again, you want this movie to do well if you're DC, not just James Gunn, DC, because, oh, I'm a big Marvel fan, but I love the Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, James Gunn, this is his last time he's doing Marvel. What's he doing next? Oh, he's doing DC. Oh, he's doing Superman. And then, oh, Marvel's not doing as well. They're kind of bottoming. They've already hit their peak. They're on the slope decline. It's like, oh, maybe I jump on the DC bandwagon. I watch more DC stuff. James Gunn's at the head of it. His hands are all over it. A guy where, yeah, like the Marvel tropes, there's still some in this movie. We talked about the long runtime. There's a lot of CGI and whatever you want to, we can go through more. But at the end of the day, the creativity, the dialogue, the banter, the presence that these characters have, that's all from the production within this movie and these actors and obviously James Gunn. So that's why, like, you really, if you're DC, you really wanted this movie to do as well as humanly possible, so you get as many people coming over to DC to watch your projects going forward.